Well, it has been a good bit since we've talked about Young Justice, and we have a couple of Warner Brothers events that we need to keep a close eye on. So I thought we could take a couple minutes to dive in, talk about what's going on, and where we want to keep our eyes peeled for the next possible news for Season 5 of Young Justice. Hey guys, it's been a bit since we've done a Young Justice Season 5 newsletter, and there's a really good reason. Typically, over the last couple of months, there really has been next to no news. Now, Greg Weisman continues his character countdown, and we are under 100 and right into the nitty-gritty of some of the main characters. So if you're not following that, I do recommend you keep a close eye on it, because he is going out of his way to keep the series alive on social media. Now, many of us have speculated when he gets down to number 1, maybe that's when something will come in the form of news. But until then, we need to look to a couple of events coming up for Warner Brothers where we might get some actual news. So let's kick off with Warner Brothers Upfront. Now, coming up on May the 15th, Warner Brothers does something called the Upfront presentation, and that'll be at Madison Square Garden. Now, this presentation is pretty wide-reaching and covers most of the Warner Brothers brand, but it does focus on a lot of announcements and basically things to bring advertisers into the mix. Now, this event will showcase a lot of the stuff coming to the Max streaming service, as well as other Warner Brothers projects that could show up on other platforms. And this could very well be a nice high-profile event where Young Justice could get some sort of announcement or nod. Now, as far as I can tell, there's no official schedule for this, unlike the second announcement, which we'll talk about in a second. So at this point, I am remaining optimistic we could get some kind of update about a 5th season of the series. But let's be clear, at this point, there's nothing on the agenda at Warner Brothers Upfront for Young Justice, but we're going to keep a close eye on it just in case. Now, the second big event is the Annecy Animation Festival, and as many of you know, this is one of the biggest animation events that comes around every single year. Now, typically, Warner Brothers has a huge footprint here, and just like last year, many of us are pretty hopeful this could be the place we finally get some Young Justice news. Now, I was fortunate enough to get one of the early full programming slates for this event, and honestly guys, it didn't have the news that I wanted, but I'm going to remain cautiously optimistic. Now, in the event, they talk pretty specifically about Warner Brothers animation and mention a lot of projects, including Batman Caped Crusader, Bat Family, Bat Wheels, Creature Commandos, Superpowers, Harley Quinn, My Adventures with Green Lantern and My Adventures with Superman, Starfire, and Teen Titans Go. But sadly, on that list, I did not see anything for Young Justice. Now, because Young Justice has so much fan demand, they could be saving this as a surprise, and they have dropped surprise announcements at Annecy before, but it doesn't look like, as of right now, it is on the agenda. Now, I do know Aztec Batman Clash of Empires, something for Watchmen, and Bat Fam, which is a follow-up to Merry Little Batman, are definitely on the agenda, as well as many other Warner Brothers animation projects like Looney Tunes, Tiny Toon University, and Bugs Bunny Builders. But at this particular moment, I'm seeing nothing for Young Justice. Now, at this point, I think we're still in pretty much the same place, and if you're a fan of Young Justice, hopefully you haven't given up hope yet. Remember, Young Justice is probably the most resurrected series ever, and I think at this point, as fans, we need to keep, well, our attitude positive. I do think it's looking kind of dark, but I don't think the series is dead, and I think enough fan demand could bring it back for a 5th and maybe multiple seasons so we can get a conclusion to the overall storyline. Clearly, Greg Weisman hasn't given up on it, he's still doing the character countdown, so I don't think we should either. I still hold pretty true that the reason we're waiting is because of James Gunn. Young Justice developed a very interconnected, large story that encompassed the whole DC universe, and if you've noticed, everything that's been greenlit since Gunn took over is very siloed. DC Superpowers, the 2 My Adventure series, or even Teen Titans Go, all kind of live in their own secluded universe. Sadly, Young Justice casts a very wide net, and I think this is the primary reason we haven't gotten any official news about the project. Now, there's no way James Gunn hasn't seen all the tags and questions. Actually, I kind of worry at a certain point he might get annoyed with it, but I think we should respectfully still continue to push for the resurrection of the series, but like I always say, keep it classy and nice because negative energy definitely won't help. Now, We're going to try to do a couple of Young Justice videos in the next couple of months. I try not to bring you guys just blank videos with no news. It seems like it's taking advantage of the fan base. But we do have a couple coming up, including who's the strongest member of the Young Justice team and a couple of other videos in a similar format. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of those events. Until we know more, what do you guys think? How do you feel about the possibilities of Young Justice showing up at Warner Brothers Upfront or the Annecy Animation Film Festival? And do you think the series has a chance at future life, or are we at the end of the road? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Now, before you take off though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily videos and we want to be your place for all the Marvel and DC news, but we're going to bring it to you truthfully and transparently so you're really in the know.